You made it to the Go Commando Show with Fred Galvin. On our new mission, we contend with the naked truths of health, leadership, and overcoming adversity. Now it's time to go commando.
So this afternoon we have Drew. He's the owner of Sport and Spine Kansas City, and I want him to talk a little bit about his practice, his athletic background, and how he discovered the concept of that evolved into Sport and Spine Kansas City. Can you tell me about your athletics first, how you grew up as a child?
I tried a bunch of things athletically when I was a kid, but stuck on swimming. Seemed to be having my gift with the amount of height that I had and lack of coordination on land. So I swam competitively from the age of 6 all the way through college, and actually I've just kind of started swimming again now, masters. So
I see. And you're coaching, and you've coached for several years.
I did, yeah. So I was a student coach for the University of Kansas. I coached at the Air Force Academy for their club team, and then I coached a couple high schools and a little bit of intermittent things here and there as well.
I see. Now, a lot of folks, there's a wide range of sports, and you chose swimming, as you mentioned. A lot of people think that swimming is a very, very safe sport. It's not a lot of compression or cutting on the lower body. What type of injuries have you seen with swimmers that are common, competitive swimmers?
Swimming is a repetitive activity sport. So the amount of training they do, I mean, in college I was doing legally 24 hours a week, but there was definitely more involved with just the repetition over and over and over and over again. Especially shoulder area, upper body area, create a lot of wear and tear. So the biggest thing is sore shoulder, so a lot of rotator cuff issues and shoulder issues in general that come with swimming. So
I know a peer of mine in graduate school, she was a competitive swimmer and really had a severe shoulder injury. Is that fairly common with competitive swimmers?
Yeah, I mean that's usually what tends to stop people, and I've had 3 shoulder surgeries because of it. So swimmers tend to be heavy-chested, rounded shoulders, and create a lot of upper back thoracic mobility issues, which create a lot of dysfunction in the shoulders. And again, with the amount of repetition and stress that we put on it, creates a lot of inflammation, irritation. So
it's not trying to oversimplify it, but if someone who's trying to get into some fitness and has been out for a while is looking to swim and not overdo it, what are some of the basic type of strokes that you would recommend for someone my age in their 40s that's trying to get back and using swimming to do that?
Well, most people are going to go to the crawl stroke just because it's freestyle. Yes. Just because I don't want to say it's simple, but it seems to be the easiest to pick up. I mean, it just depends on, if you're just starting out, yeah, you probably want to even do walking in the pool and then progress into like a kicking, and then depending on, I mean, I would suggest having someone who has a little bit more knowledge probably teaching you the crawl stroke so you don't create some sort of repetitive injury or stress injury, especially if your mechanics are not right. It's more likely that you're going to hurt yourself. So picking up swimming and learning that technique is, when you're a kid, it's a lot easier to do. When you get older, it gets a little bit harder. So having somebody to be there to kind of teach you through it, train you through it would be the best way.
Yes. So as you were a competitive athlete swimming, and then later on at the university coaching, what led you to the desire to become a physical therapist?
What got me into PT is I actually wanted to be an architect before I was in PT school, and I took architecture class and enjoyed the process and enjoyed the creativity of it, but I didn't necessarily enjoy sitting behind a desk. And it didn't fit my desire to be active as well. So, but then when I was a junior, I had a major surgery on my knee, not injury-wise, a genetic issue, and as a result, spent a year in my junior high school and PT school and got my first taste of it. And so that's how I wanted to be a PT, and then following that year I had a career people come into my high school and kind of talk about different type of careers, and there was a PT that came in and started talking about what they're doing and how they do it, and I was like, it sounds like something I do already now, almost in the pool. So
your profession has changed over those years since you were a junior till now, and what's the average length of time of somebody that's interested in going into physical therapy as far as the education
So once you graduate from high school, you have your regular undergrad. You can get an assortment of things. Mine was it's a pre-PT degree through KU. But a lot of people do kinesiology and stuff like that, and I've had a biology major and stuff like that. And then from there you go to grad school. If you're in a doctorate program, it's an 8-semester program. And then once you graduate from there, you can practice, but your education really starts from there. And so that's where you forget everything you learned and learn how the world works and learn how movement works. And your continuing ed is really where you get your skills. So.
Where do most physical therapists typically out of school end up going right after their university curriculum?
Well, the thing about PT is there's such a wide range of what we do. And one of my soapboxes of school is that because PTs have such a wide scope of what we do, we had to learn such a wide scope in PT school. I was never interested in doing geriatrics. I was never interested in doing pediatrics. I knew what I wanted to do. So I struggled in my PEDS tests and stuff, but when I'm going to doing sports and ortho type stuff, I excelled from that. So when I got out of PT school, then we just focused all my energy on that, and that's where I really started to learn what I needed to know.
And now you're the owner of Sport and Spine Kansas City. I can only imagine, as you mentioned, undergrad, some master's programs, and possibly some are moving all the way through to doctorate. Mm-hmm. A lot of costs associated with that, as well as the length of time. Starting a practice like this, what led you to decide, hey, I'm working with one company, I want to start my own? I can imagine if you can talk about what you learned along the way to have your own practice and the costs associated with it.
Well, back to your question about knowing you want to be PT is there is a commitment that you need to decide you want to do this, because it's not easy. I mean, the school's not easy, board's stressful, a lot of jobs are, but boards are stressful. And from what I hear, when I was in PT school, it wasn't easy to get into PT school, and I don't think it's gotten any better. I think it's still really difficult. As many schools as are out there and they're growing, it's still really hard because it's a very in-demand career path. I'm kind of lucky. I tend to, when I decide I want to do something, I don't tend to waver very much. So I knew I wanted to be PT when I was in junior, and that same career fair that I talked about earlier, they put up a stat on the earning percentage of certain levels of PT, and they had owner there and had a nice big number, and so the entrepreneur in me was like, oh, that's pretty nice. Of course, later down the road, you realize the reality of that, and the real world of what has happened to PT and insurance over the years has changed. So there's a huge change from there.
Yes,
but
as an owner, you're...
Yeah, so I mean, we've had a huge change. I mean, I've been out of high school for over 20 years now, and there's been just a huge change in the insurance world from that point, and PTs just aren't, in the medical field in general, the PTs are not getting reimbursed the way they have. But my point of that is, from that point on, I said, hey, I want to do PT, and I want to provide for my family the best of my ability. So this looks like it's the best route for me and the best to fit my knowledge base. So from then on, I was focused. I wanted to be outpatient ortho, own a practice, and so I went to PT. I went to undergrad school with that knowledge. I went to PT school with that knowledge. I went to my rotations with that knowledge, and I had a business plan while I was in PT school that I developed. That's the basis of this.
Yes.
Just more realistic here than what it was.
So you had that mindset going in, and would you say at physical therapy school, at any level, do they teach you about the business of owning your own practice, or you have to learn that on your own?
The doctorate program is designed to give you a little bit of taste of that. And you have different avenues that you can take, but from my experience in terms of owning this practice, and from talking to other owners of other companies as well, as the schooling's one thing, the reality is another.
Yes.
And there's no template for it. Your ability to push forward, your ability to work hard and change with the times, and
yes.
That's where you're going to gain all your business knowledge, and from learning from others. So I'd say I had a certification in business out of PT school, and I had a business plan with a 3D walkthrough of my clinic. That is less than half a percent of what I've had to learn and change.
Tell us one or two of those challenges you've had since actually owning and how you've had to adjust and reinvent that original business plan into what you're doing now.
Well, the business plan, the heart of it is the same. It's the outside stuff that I've had to learn and the environment that changes around. And in terms of how I've had to approach certain things. As a PT school and as PTs in general, you find that we've got big hearts. And I think medical people go into medical school, they have to go through all that school. You have to really have a desire to do that. But you have to actually understand, the system and work within the system that you're given and play with the cards that you're dealt. And unfortunately, a lot of things that we deal with in the insurance world changes constantly, is impossible to understand, and doesn't provide really the best avenue to do what we really want to do to the peak of our abilities. So you have to figure out, well, how can I do that, stay within what's they say is right, and do what's completely right and provide the best for the patient.
Yes.
So,
have you been able to do that organically, or do you have to outsource any of your billing to keep up with the
we've
regulations?
done a mix of everything.
Okay.
You talk about things that I have learned is that you can't do this alone.
Yes.
I have a mentor, which I learned way too late to do that. I mean, I should have had a mentor from day one. That's super important, whether it's, and you have several mentors, whether it's in just the PT or whether you have in the business or just your personal finances. There's
Yes.
always good to have someone there to support you and bounce ideas off of.
The purpose of the Go Commando show is to help a lot of folks that have these ideas to learn from other professionals who have succeeded and they've reached an obstacle and they've overcame that. So
yeah,
really,
there's going to be obstacles. The thing with owning a business is you the ability to come over, not worry about the obstacles, but be able to overcome them. And I do a lot of business reading. And one of the biggest things is that I have learned is that you shouldn't be afraid of failing. I am more fearful of businesses or people in business that have not failed. Because that ability to fail and recover and fail again and recover and learn from each process is going to make you that much better, make your practice better, make your business that much better. And so whether it's my swimming career, whether it's whatever I've done, I've never been afraid to fail and then just keep on pushing myself through. So
yes, keep jackhammering until
just take your beating and keep on moving ahead. So.
Yes.
To all my fellow grunts out there who in your youth felt it was your duty to protect us, I salute you. And thanks to the listeners of the Go Commando Show who labor on the farm, who are sweating on the construction site, putting forth your very best at the office, you are making a difference. Support the Go Commando Show in our pursuit of bringing you the highest quality professionals. Infiltrate the website at gocommandoshow.com, where you can view all of the podcasts and arm your team with incredible deals on health supplements, commando clothing, and equipment. Every time that you get a good deal, it supports the show. What deals? When you purchase anything from the website, Amazon, healthcare supplements, you're covering our six. And to the ladies on the team, when you outfit yourself in the super sexy threads from Naked Zebra, and yes, I'm talking about in fuego, you are firing the sniper shot for our commandos. How else can you support? It's simple. You smash the follow and subscribe buttons on our social media. That is how you support us bringing great guests to talk about serious subjects, not the mainstream media's fake news. So thank you, and until our next show, stay in the attack and go Commando.